Welcome everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day today. So, today we're going to talk about our EA program. This is our Expert Talk series, and this is the agenda we're going to cover today. We're going to cover why choose Vancouver Career College. We're going to cover some questions about education assistants and their field. Then we have guest speaker Alicia Kroeker and Connie Hampson from Abbotsford School District. And at the very end, we're going to have some Q&As for everyone. So let's give it another 1 or 2 minutes. I see a few people entering, and then we will move to the next agenda. All right. So first of all, why choose us? Why choose Vancouver Career College? As you all know, we are a career college. We have been in education for over 25 years now, right? The few benefits of choosing us is that we offer programs which are online and on campus both, giving you flexibility. We offer you lots of hands-on training, right? So it's not only education, you get lots of hands-on training. We assist you with practicum placements. All our instructors are experienced and from the field. Also, our class sizes are super small. That means you get more one-on-one attention, right? You get more attention. You feel comfortable to ask questions, and there's no wait list. You don't have to worry about missing out on a class or wasting a couple months here and there. You can start every month. There's no wait list, right? And that means you can graduate faster. Faster you graduate, you can start working faster, right? So win-win. Now, how you can enroll? You just simply have to go to the website www.career.college and you can start your admission process from there.
Okay, so my name is Shelly Bell. I am one of the employment specialists and practicum coordinators with Vancouver Career College. I work out of the Abbotsford campus. I also taught the education assistant program for a number of years. So this is one program that is very near and dear to my heart. So what I would like everybody to do is using your chat feature, tell me in the chat, what do you feel the primary role of an education assistant is? You can put a 1 if you feel like it's teaching subjects. Put a 2 in the chat if you feel like it's assisting students with disabilities. Put a 3 if you feel like it's managing school finances. And put a 4 if you feel like being an EA is about conducting parent and teacher meetings. So using the chat feature, which one do you think? What do you feel like is the role of an EA? I see we've got some 2s already showing up in the chat there, assisting students with disabilities. Yeah, most people seem to have a good idea about this. We used to be called teaching assistants, and that gave a little bit of a confusing description of what an EA is, because we're not really there to assist the teachers. We're there to support students with various learning needs to be as successful and independent as they can. Awesome. You're right, guys. All right, next slide, please. All right, next question. We'll use our 1, 2, 3, 4 system again in the chat. How can education assistants contribute to fostering an inclusive classroom environment? Put a 1 if you feel like segregating students based on their abilities is the best way to do that. Put a 2 if you're feeling like advocating for the exclusion of students with disabilities is the way to go. Put a 3 if you feel like education assistants contribute by promoting collaboration and understanding among students. And put a 4 if you feel like it's ignoring the diverse needs of learners. So our special education system has really evolved over the years. As somebody who has, worked in education in, 20 plus years, I've seen, we've moved from full segregation of students with disabilities being put into their own schools, own classrooms, away from everybody else, separate programs, separate teachers, separate buildings. And now we've moved to an inclusive classroom environment where everybody is learning in the same environment together. And EAs, that's where we come in. We help with the communication, we help with the support, we help build bridges, remove obstacles so that every learner in that classroom has the ability to learn, grow, and achieve success. All right. Sorry, my slide here. There we go. Education assistants. This is a true or false. Education assistants can make independent decisions about students without consulting the teachers or administrators. True or false? Do you feel like EAs, education assistants, can make those independent decisions? Lots of false, false, false. Yeah, you guys are correct. This is false. And you know what? There's a lot of security that happens as EAs because it doesn't all rest on you. It doesn't all land on you to make all those big, important, life-changing decisions. Education assistants work in collaboration and under the direction of classroom teachers, support teachers, vice principals, principals. So the entire collaborative team works together to help these students achieve their goals. So you're never in it on your own. You've got this entire team of folks all there sitting at the same table, trying to work together towards getting these students to be successful. Awesome. All right. What makes the Education Assistant Diploma program at Vancouver Career College successful? Which ones do you feel like help our EAs be successful in the field? Is it the fast tracking of the program? Is it the specialized training? Is it that it's government approved? Is it that it includes all 20 certifications? You can put a 1, you can put a 2, a 3, a 4. Maybe you think it's the whole shebang. Oh, getting a mix of answers here. Seeing some 1s, some 2s, some 4s. It's all. It's all of them. The districts that I work with really love how many different certifications that our EAs come out of the program with. You get a whole bunch of different training in terms of autism-related resources, communication-related resources, academic-related resources. You come out of our program ready to work with a wide variety of students with a wide variety of needs. You come prepared to try on anything and to slide into any classroom and be able to support.
Thank you, Shally. Now we'll have Alicia and Connie to talk about what this program entails, and they will shed more information on that.
Connie, you're muted. Hi there, I'm Alicia Kroeker. I'm one of the EA peer mentors for the Abbotsford School District. A little about what we do as a peer mentor is to help prepare professional development for EAs, and we also do EA training for our district. I've been an EA for 12 years prior to getting this job 4 years ago.
Hi everyone, I'm Connie Hampson. I'm the other EA peer mentor in the school district, and I've been an EA for about 16 years, and I've been working with Alicia for the last 4. And we're so fortunate in our district as mentors. Our program is, we work across the district with all grade levels, and our program is a voluntary program. So it's the beauty of it is EAs can sign up if they want to, and it's a confidential service, and we're flexible. We work around the EA schedule and come alongside them to provide whatever supports they may need. Sometimes it's just confidence building, and sometimes it's just knowing you're doing the right thing, and we get to collaborate together. The other piece we get to join into with our school district is that we're part of the orientation programs that are with HR. So we do the practicum orientations, and we also do, when you get hired, we do the new hire orientation. So, and we just speak to what we provide with the school district. And the beauty with the practicum orientation is we get to know you beforehand. And if there's ever a situation you want us to pop by and visit you in your practicum, we're available to do that. So we're just going to speak to a couple things that we feel are kind of those vital skills that we need to possess, and some of those important things. As a goal of as an EA is to help students achieve their IEP goals, the individual education plan goals. So we do this and we encourage their personal level of independence. Shelley spoke to that too, that our goal is to provide that independence for students and they get the best support possible. So we work alongside the teacher and possibly the learning support services teacher. They create the IEP and we go along and we just balance out and we just track some data possibly and go along and measure the goals and make sure that those students are getting to where they need to be based on whatever's been provided for them. And we can make some adaptations along the way, providing, because you know the student best. We're doing this in safe learning environments. We're always reinforcing that social skill with their peers. Promoting that positive behavior support. We're just encouraging them all the time. Yes, you can do it, right? Some need some physical assistance and we would have those skills to help provide that for them as well. And of course comes along the personal health and hygiene. And then like I was saying about the adaptations, is sometimes some of that academic support, we know it can be helpful for those students to meet their goals. So some of the ranges of the students we support could be, there's some learning disabilities, some physical disabilities, mental illnesses, and or complex disabilities. And there's obviously others. Like big one is, I think Shelley speaks to, that there's a lot of students that we support that have autism. And that's where a lot of the funding comes from for sure.
And so part of the hiring process, we'll go back one slide. Thanks so much. The hiring process is different for all districts, how the interviews work perhaps, but some of the similarities are most districts use Make a Future for where you sign up and you put your information in and you create your own profile. You make a new profile for every district that you apply for. And that gives you the opportunity to see all the listings and all the postings that each district has for EA jobs, whether they're casual or you have temporary or permanent positions available. Benefit to applying in the Abbotsford School District is if you do your practicum in our district, you are guaranteed an interview at your school site. So our HR team will come and they'll meet you there and it'll be at least a place where you're comfortable and you're getting to know what's expected of you and that sort of thing. So they come in and make you feel comfortable and they ask you thoughtfully, kindly questions about how you work with the students. And so you get that firsthand experience when you take your practicum at our school district. Some other school districts offer that same perk also when you do your practicum in their district. Everybody's looking to hire EAs right now. We are looking for good qualified staff who want to love students and want to keep learning. So that's part of how the process works.
Perfect. Before we move forward, guys, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and then we'll be happy to answer them as we go along. There's also a Q&A box. You can always put your questions there as well. Moving to the next slide.
So one of the big things I think that we have a luxury of having fun in our job. Like we get to come in the schools and have some fun. I think this is one of the few jobs that we get to do this. So one of the big pieces is that rapport building, that really finding that connection with that student. We need to be connected and have that rapport develop before we can support any other kind of learning. So they know that we have that connection, we're safe, we're fun, we're trusted, and then we can move forward. So I think it's really important to know that we're lighting up for our students. And sometimes we are not, like I can be naturally silly. Other people, it's not their comfort zone, but finding what that is, what's natural for you, because kids know when you're not being natural. So it's also being like lighting up for them. And you'll see when you enter a room that they're excited to see you as well.
So some fun parts of our job are helping students become independent and learn in different ways. Part of that happens when we're working with a student. We're going to pause before they answer. We're going to give them time to answer. A lot of students we work with have language delays, so they take longer to process what we're saying and to also give the words back to us. We want to make sure we're not over verbalizing. Right now, you're going to hear a lot of people talking, and this is important information. But with students that we're working with, less is more sometimes. We want to give them, get your lunch, get your jacket on. Simple instructions that are not complex, so they can be able to process those and be able to move on independently. We also want to think about our proximity. How close or far are we sitting to students? How much space are we giving the students to be able to be independent, to do the work that they need to do? So some students, it's safer to be nearby. You want to make sure you're maintaining their safety also. And some students, they need more room. So we want to help our students grow to become those independent kids they can be. You also want to make sure you record and celebrate student successes. When students do accomplish any of their goals, their objectives, whatever they're doing, you want to celebrate that. You make sure, show it off to the teacher, make sure they can show it to their parents, giving them places to be proud of their work. We also want to make sure we're promoting peer support. Bring a friend along. Kids love kids. We can get in the way sometimes as grown-ups. So we're not speaking on their level, and their friends do. So there's sometimes we see kids light up and get so excited about doing their work because they have a peer who's willing to do it with them. We also want to try to phase out cues. We're not going to say, get your shoes on, get your coat on, get your backpack on. That all of that makes a student have to depend on us. And if we're not there, they might just stand there sort of not sure what to do. So we want to give them space that they can learn the routines, and we're going to give some information, but we're going to back up so that they can be able to say, I don't need your help, I've got this. Right? We want to celebrate that too. And you want to allow students to make mistakes. It's part of human experience. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Kids do, and we get to learn from that. So help them know that they get to learn, and it's just an opportunity to try it a different way, and maybe that way will work. And the last thing that's super important is, could the student be doing more on their own? Could we give them space to do more, where we aren't doing our art project? We don't have to cut out that Thanksgiving turkey to be all the same, or cut out that craft for Valentine's Day. The heart doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if it has tears and turns and whatever. We want to celebrate what they can do on their own. Another big part of our job is safety. We are going to be working with students who don't always have control of their body or of their emotions, and they're dealing with things that we don't always understand. So we have to make sure that we're promoting our safety and their safety. Part of that, for employee safety, many districts have a variety of non-crisis intervention protocol to keep us safe, whether that's helping us make sure the student feels safe by they have a door to get out of if they need to move. We're not blocking anybody in, and we're not going to be in a place that makes us unsafe. And so if something does happen, because students can be aggressive because their voice might not be working how they want to be working, and so they're going to use their hands or their feet or things, we let our principal know, and we let them know what happened. And then we fill out our workplace violent incident report. That's what it's called in our district. Could be have a different name in other districts, but when you fill it out, it's tracking information for the district to know how do they support the student. Do they bring in outside district supports? Who else is gonna help this team so the student can be successful? It's not a reflection about what kind of an EA you are or how you're working with your students. It's just a reflection of what kind of supports you put in place. And so if a student has quite a few incidences, or maybe a big incident happens, and staff are a little bit concerned, then a safety plan can be written up. And a safety plan is really helpful because the whole team comes together, the school team, the district team, and it's a work safe document that gets created. And when it's created, it tells you, here are the triggers. Here's how we de-escalate the student. Here's how we support the student. So we can have some pre-knowledge to know how not to set a student off, how to connect with them, how to be able to light up for them and not make their lights turn off, sort of. So yeah, those are some important key pieces to keeping you safe.
And this next section will talk about professionalism in the workplace. So as far as communication goes, it's always important to consider and respond appropriately to the needs, the feelings, and the capabilities of others, actually all that we work with, right? In a tactful, compassionate, and respectful way. We're establishing positive relationships with students and all team members to enhance their learning. So when we have those connections in the classroom, the kids you'll see them. It's like a sense of belonging. It's our community. It's really important and it's very valuable. So we act as a role model for students. We're demonstrating professionalism in communication. We can be fun with them, but we're also we're maintaining our professionalism. Be curious if there's something that happens and you're kind of thinking, I'm not sure that, something, then be curious and ask the question, right? There's never any fault in asking a question, then it's clarified, right? and we can listen and we can understand other people's ideas and concerns. And you can also, again, like we were saying, you're going to know the student the best. You have the best skills to work with those students, and there's going to be things you're going to know. So be curious, ask questions, and then don't be afraid to share what you know about that student to help, that could be helpful for them. And of course, always we model confidentiality and sensitivity in all communication. That's written, verbal, nonverbal. If you need to speak to say your shift is changing and you're going past another EA, make sure any kind of communication you need to have if you're telling them about a student, maybe how the morning went or what have you, not to be having it in the hallway. Like find a private place, because kids have ears and so do other adults, and so they'll hear something, they'll hear it out of context, and we don't need anyone to be in situations where you could need to have a talk with somebody later, or you just and for the dignity of the student and safety of the student and families. And collaboration. So it's the importance of working collaboratively with all of our colleagues. It just contributes to a positive sense of belonging in your school. So when we say all colleagues, it's your students, all the staff. Like it could be the custodian. Sometimes that custodian has that connection with the student as well, and so we're always working together, because they might know something about the student as well. So working together is really valuable, and it's, again, at the end of the day, it just offers more support for that student. We respect diversity and values and the input of others. So again, that piece of that curious part, let's ask questions, let's be curious, let's get information from everybody. And it's important too to be dealing with conflict in a positive and constructive manner. If there's something that happens, or we just want to be professional about that. And that's in written work as well as in a conversation. And sharing information and knowledge that's applicable to the student learning within a team setting. So again, share what you know. Let's work together. Again, I kind of emphasize enough how important is that collaboration. So we're not working in kind of a silo by ourselves. We all have information we can provide for the support of that student.
All right, now Shelly's gonna give you guys a quick program breakdown about how our program is run.
So our EA program is a 56-week-long program that includes 8 weeks of practicum, hands-on work experience in a school-based setting. There are in-class and remote portions to the training. Some of the in-class things are like your CPR training. There's a nonviolent crisis intervention training that you get. That will be an in-person one. There are modules that are 1 week long, 2 weeks long, and 3 weeks long. The assignments are a variety of different ways to show your learning. Gives everyone a chance to be successful. You do projects, you do research papers, you do presentations, you get a chance to collaborate with your classmates, and even in that virtual environment, you still get to use breakout rooms and get a chance to really have that in-class experience, even though it is a remote learning situation in some cases. The nature of the EA role is very collaborative, as Alicia and Connie have already highlighted on. So we give you that opportunity to practice those communication skills, those teamwork skills. You get to do a little bit of everything. In terms of employment opportunities, so many of our students have their principals at their practicum location saying, we want you back. Let me know as soon as you're hired. I want you at my school. We have some of our students that actually get hired on in independent schools. We have a number of independent schools around the Lower Mainland that are just for students with disabilities. One of my personal practicum students, he went to a school in New West that is just for secondary students who have special needs or disabilities. They have individual education plans. And as soon as he was graduated, he was working the next day. They were so excited to have him. You get a really wide variety of training in terms of communication. Not just how to communicate with your colleagues and your teammates, but also how to foster communication in the students that you're supporting. Some of our students, like Alicia was saying, don't necessarily use their words to communicate. You learn how to look at behavior as communication. You learn how to use pictures as communication, social stories, signing. We touch on a lot of different things. You touch on how to create inclusive environment so that everybody in that classroom has a chance to be successful and learn. You learn all about child and adolescent development and really dive into the brain and how to help brains function at their best. Because that's really what EAs are. They're in the brain business. You're in the business to help kids learn how to harness their own skills and be as successful as possible. And really, at the base of it, you get to learn all about differences and understanding differences so that you can embrace them and help those kids, not need you anymore. Help them be as independent as possible in any environment they find themselves in.
All right. Anyone has any questions? Please, now is the time you can put your questions in the chat, and then we will be happy to answer that. So Shelly, there's a question for you. Can this EA course apply to all school districts in Vancouver, particularly in Coquitlam?
That is a really great question, actually. Every district has a school board office that is in charge of the hiring policies and practices of that school district. So our EA program allows our grads to go into a number of different districts all over the Lower Mainland. Each one, it really depends on what the hiring criteria is for that particular posting that is up with that district. What we do is one of my hats that I wear at the campus is I also am in career services. So as soon as a student has graduated the EA program, they get me and my support in career services for up to 6 months after they graduate. So I help you create your Make a Future accounts. I help you get your resume and your cover letters and everything ready to go. I help pre-practice a job interview. So no matter which district that you're going to, you get a little bit of a leg up in terms of helping you be successful in getting hired. I know specifically in Coquitlam, there's actually an independent school in Coquitlam that is an elementary school just for students with disabilities. And so they have like one of the highest number of EAs on staff because they have so many students with needs in their particular school. So there's definitely a lot of employment opportunities all over the place.
Thank you, Shelly. I think Rose had the same question. Is this what happens for EA students in North Vancouver, Burnaby as well? I think you answered that already. Jane has a question. Are your EA graduates able to work in a different province in Canada, like Alberta in particular?
That is a really great question as well. I actually just recently helped one of my EA grads who graduated from the program here in Abbotsford, and she moved to Alberta. And so they hired her. Again, same thing in that province as it is with our province. Every school district has their own HR department, and they set up the hiring criteria. And so same kind of thing where, when she moved to Alberta, she still got access to the career services support. So I helped her go on to their job site and get applied there as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Shelly. I have a question for you now. How does a typical week or a day of like an education assistant look like?
I can speak to that a little bit if that's all right. When you go to a school, if you're casual, you're going to check in at the office. You're going to get a sub book, typically that another EA has written some information about their student, about what the day looks like, when the breaks are, when they change from one class to another class, and have a school map in there, kind of get your bearings. And somebody will often take you to the class that you're going to be working in, connect you with the teacher, check in with them. The teacher's going to be the one who's going to share who the student is, give you some little background information if they need to, And perhaps if there's not enough information in the sub book, you get to check out the IEP. But you're going to work with a student, and sometimes you're in the class for the whole day. Sometimes your student is going to need some body breaks, and you're going to go for walks. You're going to go to the gym and shoot some hoops. You're going to do a variety of activities that help reset the student, perhaps to come back in class and to enjoy their learning. You're going to keep kids safe too. If you know the kid you're working with is a little bit trickier, you're going to make sure that they have space and the other students have some space in the classroom still, but so that everybody has what they need to learn. The students who need your support, you're going to wander around the class. So you're not going to stay with the same students sitting next to them, hovering over them. You're going to give space, check in, because you will have often more than one or two kids. Connie, you worked in middle school some too, and you often had quite a few more than sometimes an elementary class would have, perhaps, that were designated.
Well, and sometimes you may be, for example, in middle school, you might have your morning in one class and your middle of the day in another class and the afternoon in another class. So it's like that flexibility is a big piece. We're always moving. You're always, if you're not in the class, you're in the gym, you're outside. So again, being flexible, being creative. A big thing when you're first starting is that connection piece. Where are you finding the time to connect, right? Maybe that connection to, I didn't speak to it, but like it could be that rapport building could be like playing Uno, like with a group of kids, like bringing in the peers, shooting basketballs outside, right? Like getting like Alicia talks about that movement. So sometimes it's just, you have that ability to be flexible in that way to, just for them to help regulate them. Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds like a fun job to do. I would do. I would like to be an EA.
It's pretty great.
Thank you, ladies. So we have a question from Farzinath. They're asking what carries more weight on our diploma, the result from practicum or all the certificates we complete? Anyone like who wants to answer? Please go ahead. Do you want me to repeat the question? The question is what carries more weight on our diploma, the result from practicum or the certificate? So, I mean, they want to ask what is more helpful when they're about to get hired. Is it the practicum or the certificates that they complete?
Both, honestly. Two things happen after practicum. Number one, the HR department, whichever district, and I work very closely with Alicia and Connie's district in Abbotsford, but I work with a number of the other districts as well. The HR department always reaches out to your practicum host, usually the principal, to say, tell me about this practicum student. Should we hire them? So your practicum experience absolutely has a lot of weight in terms of your hireability. You often come out of a practicum with a reference as well, or several, which again, we coach you on in terms of setting yourself up for hiring success afterwards. So that practicum is an amazing networking opportunity for you to get hired after the fact. However, I have also had feedback from several districts that I work with about how much they love the heavy training and wide variety of training our particular grads get out of our program. You get a little bit of training in sign language, in different academic curriculums like touch math. We do a lot of different trainings in terms of like video modeling, how to write a proper social story. Those particular trainings and certificates that you get make you very valuable to the district. And it's really exciting to me when I get practicum students who are messaging me going, oh, I got to use my touch math on practicum today with a student, or oh, that social story I wrote for this assignment actually worked out perfectly. So honestly, the answer is both. They both are going to set you up for success in terms of getting hired.
Thank you, Shelly. So we do have a question from Svitlana. Her first question is, do we need any language test to enter the program? This I can answer. No, you do not. All you need is to pass our college admission test, which is an English and a math test. Consists of 30 multiple choice questions. It is an online test or in person. And that's the only thing you require to meet the language requirements. There are other admission requirements, which You can find out more once like you're ready to sit with an admissions rep. We go over everything. This question might be for you, Shelley. What form of training exactly is provided, since most likely they're asking, is the training or the practicum, I assume that's the question, full-time or part-time?
So the practicums for the EA program it's 8 weeks total. It's technically 2 4-week practicums that we usually run sequentially. The first practicum is 110 hours. So, and then the second practicum is 110 hours. So what that works out to is usually our students are doing like a 30-hour-a-week schedule, usually doing 6 hours a day. Elementary schools are open 6 hours a day for the most part. So that's usually the majority of our students get placed in an elementary school setting. However, in the middle school and the high school setting, sometimes you can get a little bit longer hours.
Perfect. Svetlana, for your other questions, who to contact? Simply go to the website www.career.college, fill out your information, and admissions representative will contact you, and we will give you all the other information that you require. I hope it answers your question. Let's move to the next one. So Harpreet Chawla has a question for Alicia. Hi, Alicia. I have done my practicum in Abbotsford district and I'll be finishing in March. Wondering what will be the hiring process for me now?
If you can't make it during your practicum, what I would suggest you do is email Brian Davies, email our HR department, and let them know some dates you're available. So make yourself available, take the initiative, make sure you have your Make a Future. You don't have to actually have that completed in order to get an interview with Abbotsford because you've done your practicum in Abbotsford. But I would get your profile set up on Make a Future for our district, and I get an email sent out to them as soon as you can so that you can get booked in for an interview date. And then they would interview you, and then within a short time you would have information and feedback on that. Go ahead, Connie.
I'm just wondering if Harpreet's currently in her practicum or she's already finished the practicum.
I think you said you're finished.
I'm done
She
my
has finished
practicum.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope
you.
that answers your question, Harpreet.
You're welcome.
Let's go to the next question. Meena, how much is the cost for the diploma? Meena, I would recommend you to submit your inquiry at the college's website, www.career.college, and an admission representative will get in touch with you. What time is the class? So this is a question from Jaime. She. What time is the class? Monday to Friday, daytime or evening time? Shelley?
Really, that the hours of the class will depend on which campus that you are attending from. I know our Abbotsford class runs 9 till 2, Monday till Friday. And then, practicums, obviously, those hours change dependent upon which school that you're attending. You would go and attend practicum for the hours that your school is open.
Perfect. I hope that answers your question. Now I have a question for you ladies, because you seem very passionate for your job. So what would you say is the best part about your job, and what is sometimes hard to deal with?
I think some of the best part is the connections you make with the students. It's the opportunity to connect with them, make them feel cared for and safe, and give them an opportunity to learn how they learn best. So finding the tricks that work for each student, so you can see them be successful. That's some of the best. I think some of the hardest, and Connie probably would agree, would be if we don't get to connect with our other EAs or other adults in the day. So some of that part gets busy, and you're running past each other, and you're going around. So sometimes you can feel not as connected. So you have to be really intentional, I think, about that part.
I think sometimes too, what's hard is when the students can't communicate what their needs are or what they're trying to tell us, and we don't understand, we get it wrong as adults. I think that's the hardest part when we try. So that's those pieces, especially students that are minimally verbal or nonverbal completely, and they have an AAC device potentially, and we're still coaching them through it. Sometimes it's hard. They're so frustrated, and we're just trying to help. And yeah, I find that's a big challenge for me.
But do you think like with time, like as time passes, you do tend to get better at that, right?
Absolutely. And we start figuring out cues with the student, right? Once we get to know them well, they know us, and then they can kind of signal us, and then we're like, oh, got it. That's what you need. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Alicia. And then Shelly, question for you. Since you've been in this industry for a long time, you know a lot about this, right? What do you think is the employment rate for our graduate students? Because I think that's a question which students want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Our EA program has one of the higher employment rates because our EAs are in demand. The three districts that I work with the most in my campus are the Abbotsford, Mission, and Chilliwack school districts. And we have over like an 85% employment rate for those particular districts. I don't work as much with the other districts, but I've had students hired in New West. I've had students hired in Langley, all over the place. So I feel like our grads are really, really set up for hiring success as soon as they're done the program.
That's really good. 85% is really, really good. Thank you, Shelly. Now, we have a really good question from Javeria. After EA program, do you get a job on call or is it a permanent position? Really good question.
In the Abbotsford School District, you would start on call. You'd be a casual, and dispatch would call. They call out every morning. So if there's a placement needed, then potentially you get that call. And then we have postings you're starting in May, and they run through the summer. So those are ones you can apply on and possibly get a permanent position that way.
And that is, I'll chime in there, and that's similar to the other districts that I work with as well, not just Abbotsford. Every district does it a little bit differently, but generally speaking, you get hired on as on-call first, meaning you are a sub for EAs that are off, away, maybe off sick or whatnot. I really enjoyed the little bit of the on-call work that I did when I first got hired on as an EA because it gives you a chance to visit the different schools, see the different setups, try elementary, try middle, try high school, really kind of see what your niche area is. And then you can start, once you're on as a casual employee, then you can start looking at those internal postings. When those internal postings come out varies from district to district. But you can look at, sometimes they have short-term positions, sometimes they have long-term positions. And yeah, that getting on as a casual is your foot in the door to get, access to more permanent positions.
And do you think like they have to spend certain amount of like months on call before they are able to apply for a full-time position? Is there something like that?
That is a really, really good question. Again, it's going to depend on the district, upon, how many student needs that they have. Oftentimes what happens in the district is they do all of their hiring in sort of the August month for the September school year based on their predictions of what the needs are going to be. And then, however, September starts and principals realize, hey, we've got 3 new students in and these guys are going to need support. And so then what happens is the district does another round of hiring because they realize they've got all these other spots open. And so sometimes this can happen periodically throughout the year, depending on the district. So for some folks, they may stay on call. For myself, I actually only did about 2 weeks of on call, and then I ended up in a long-term position. I know of other folks who actually have chosen to stay on call, as that is how they enjoy the variety, they enjoy the flexibility. It's a little bit of a different setup. So again, it's really kind of dependent upon, where do you want to be working? What age level do you want to be working? High school positions are sometimes a little more readily available than elementary school positions because not everybody always wants to work in that high school environment. So yeah, there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of opportunity depending on what it is that you're looking for.
Thank you, Shelley. For this, I have another question. Okay. If someone is on call, can they work with different school districts at the same time, or is there a process to that?
Also a very good question. Yes, they can. It does become a little tricky depending on what the policies are per district in terms of how much availability you have to have as an on-call person. I know a couple of people where they designate sort of they're available for hours in one district on these days of the week and they're available on other days. Again, depends on the setup that you've got with the district that you're working with.
Perfect. Thank you, Shelley. Let's get Connie to answer this question. How to handle, so this is from Hermandeep. So how to handle the child with behavior issues if he is distracting the whole class?
That's a great question because it happens all the time. It's kind of our life, right? I think the key thing is what is that student communicating with their behavior? So all behavior is communication. Is there something the student needs, something the student wants? It's a kind of such a broad question. You kind of have to be in it. Is something sensory happening for that student? Did they not eat that day? Have they, did they not sleep great last night? But the other options are, can we take a break? Can they go for a walk? Can they do their work sitting on the floor? Maybe there's just a few things you can just try. I don't have the perfect answer for that one, but that's a great question. And like I say, we deal with it all the time. And that's when you're being kind of flexible and creative and trying to find what you know about the student and what could possibly help them in that moment. Sometimes they just need a reset.
Thank you. I hope, Herman, that answers your question. Question for you, Shelley, again. What experience do the Vancouver Career College instructors have?
Ooh, all of our Vancouver Career College instructors have been in EA themselves for at least 3 years or been working in a school environment for 3 years. And so every one of us who has taught the program or is teaching the program has that experience in the classrooms themselves. They've lived it. They are able to speak to the curriculum and the content, but also what does this look like in real life? We can talk about how do we manage behavior, and on paper we can describe it in one way, but what happens in the classroom, it can be very, very different. So our instructors have lived it. They've been there and can speak to what you can expect on practicum and in the job.
Thank you, Shelley. And then, would you say, coming back to the question from Svetlana before, would you say this program is tough, or is there a certain requirement that, hey, I need to pass with 70% for the employer in order for me to be a good candidate? So, or to rephrase the question, what would you say is the passing rate for our students in this program?
So our program, most of the modules that we have in the EA program require a 70% grade or higher in order to pass. And like I said earlier, the way that you are assessed in the program varies so that, we all know, and you'll learn a lot about how diverse learners really are when you're in the EA program. Every one of us and our brains learn a little bit differently. Some of us are visual learners. Some of us are auditory learners, meaning we need to hear it. Some of us need hands-on kinesthetic learning experiences. We use that awareness of the brain to actually teach our students in a variety of ways as well, because you as adult learners also have unique and diverse brains. And so, like I said, you're going to get to do your learning in a lot of different ways so that you have a chance to really absorb that information and then put it into practice once you are hired. So you're same with any program. You're going to find some modules maybe a little more interesting to you than others. For me, I love the mental health modules. I find that fascinating. My colleague who also teaches the program, she really, really, really loved diving into the hearing and vision impairment side of things. So there's niche areas, there's chances for you to really dive in and get excited about things. There's some modules that are going to be a little hard and you're going to have to work through it. But the cool thing about that is You're also going to be developing strategies that you can use to support your students when they are struggling through something hard and through how to persevere. And, you know, that whole mantra of I can do hard things. We help you with those coping strategies to be successful.
Thank you. So we have another question from Hermandeep. Let's let Alicia answer this. Can we get hired while on practicum if the student is finishing her study within 2 weeks after the practicum? And what would you say are the best tips while we are at the practicum?
You can get hired at the end of your practicum, but you wouldn't start till you fully complete your program. That's correct, Shelley? Is that right? Okay?
Yep.
But I think some important parts about your practicum are get involved, ask questions, never sit back and just watch everybody do the things. It is definitely okay to observe, but you wanna jump in there and offer your ideas, ask questions, do a lot of listening for sure to how the teacher's speaking, to how the EA that you're working with is speaking to the students and connecting. Bring your fun self. Find out, like Connie talked about before, what is your favorite thing to do? What is something that you really enjoy doing when you're working with kids, and bring that to the table so you can naturally engage with them and bring light up for the kids. Be so excited to be there. They will know that you're excited. You can be scared. We're all scared. I go into new schools too. I work with different EAs at different places that are not where I worked at before. So I'm getting to meet new people also, and we have to bring everything we can to our when we go into the school and enjoy the students. If you have questions, if you have concerns, like talk to people. So be sure to know that everybody at the school is wanting you to be successful too, and just ask questions. Find people that you can learn from, and ask if you can observe the CA if you see them doing something in a way that you think is really neat, and ask if you can try it out yourself too. So take some risks.
I'd like to add too, like if you find you're in your practicum and it's not challenging, I think that this is the time and place to really put yourself in there because you have support, right? Find yourself in a challenging situation that you're really going to have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. So you're going to learn best and be in a situation, because when you're hired, then you're on your own. So it's good to have that experience on your practicum when you have support with you.
Thank you. Let's do one or two more questions and then we're gonna move forward. So there's a question from Jerly Chain. Why doesn't the school have us use ASL regularly in the class?
I'll speak that. That's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of students who are deaf and who use ASL regularly. So that's a skill that's specialized. So we do have interpreters in our district. I'm sure every district would have interpreters to make sure that any of the students who are deaf or hard of hearing get the support they need. But unless you have that, unless you apply for that posting specifically, that wouldn't be a skill you would be using every day. So we're learning more PEC schedules, PICs, using our visuals, and yeah.
Thank you, Alicia. So I hope that answers your question. One last question we're going to take is, if a student did their practicum in private school, is it hard for them to get a job in a public school? Good question.
That is a really good question too. Honestly, it will depend on the district that you're applying to and how big their needs are for EAs. Really, if you were to come to me as your career services person, I would say it's all about how we show what you know and your experiences on your resume. And we would show them that your experience in an independent school actually sets you up for success with their district as well. So yeah, we would give you a hand on that front for sure. You're muted, Siddhant.
Thank you, Shelly. Thanks for letting me know. So guys, the next step for you to get more information would be to go to our website, www.career.college. To get more information, all you have to do is submit your information and an admissions advisor will reach out to you. We have new programs which are launching this fall. So exciting, like, new times are coming. There's no wait list. So you can start right away. Our programs again are blended, means they can be done online or on campus, as was seen during COVID, and most of our programs can be completed under a year. So, like, that lets you get into the workforce faster. No need to be in school forever, right? So, again, in order to apply today, get more information, go to the website www.career.college and just sign up for more information. Thank you, everyone, for coming here to this event and making it exciting. We will wait and see if there are any few questions before we let everyone go. Any questions? Now is the time. We have also put the link for the program in the chat for you guys. Should you want to save some time, just click the link. It's going to take you directly to the information. I would like to thank our guest speakers today. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Alicia, for giving us so much information, giving us so much insight from this beautiful, lovely career. And then, of course, thank you, Shelly, for being so helpful and insightful. Thank you, ladies. And then I hope everyone had a good time. Can we get the recording of today's presentation? Yes, it should be available. Where will the recording be available? I believe there should be links on our social media or the website, or you will actually also get an email with the recording. There you go. Easier. We'll make it easy for you. And then any questions, guys? Again, I would like to go over it. Let's take one more question. I hope to have same event with North Vancouver School District EA. Rose, we will schedule that event in the future for sure. Thank you for your suggestion. We will work on that. Should we put email ID here? No, Harpreet, please go to the website, www.career.college, or click the link we put in the chat above. Fill out your information, and then we will reach out to you. You don't have to put your email address here. And if you're talking about the recording, that's going to come in your email, which you used to sign up. Any other questions, guys? Now is the time. If you want to ask Connie, Alicia, or Shelly anything, now is the time. Anything you ladies want to add, Connie?
I think I did see just one thing in the chat about somebody asking if they could stay casual. And I know for Abbotsford, you can stay casual. You just have to work, right? Alicia, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 to 3 days a week you have to commit to. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Perfect. Thank you. I think that question was asked by Jane. Thank you, Connie. Any other questions? I think everyone's good for now. Thank you, ladies, for joining. Thank you for all our. Oh, one more question looks important. What's the dress code for Abbotsford School? Or I assume, what's the dress code for a EA?
I would say obviously professional, but not obviously we're not wearing a suit and tie, but we're comfortable so you can move, proper footwear.
Yeah, running shoes. So you can engage with the students, whether you're playing with them outside or maybe whether they're running somewhere or whatever, then you can get moving faster.
Yeah, something you can move in for sure.
Perfect. Thank you. Again, guys, before I let you all go, the link you can get more information at is www.career.college. I thank everyone for being here. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Connie, again. Thank you, Shelly. And thank you to me too.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I hope everyone has a good day.